Why do you fight?
Hey you guys, today's video kicks off my data battle breakdown series. I appreciate the huge response I had when I asked for any insights you all had. I've looked through all of your suggestions and I've tried to pick out the ones that I didn't know anything about, so if I do note something or if I show something on screen, I will credit someone who came up with that. So if I didn't credit you, if I didn't use your information, it's probably because I already knew about it or I found it while I was already doing the script. But again, a huge thank you to everyone who replied and tried to help out with this breakdown. I really appreciate it. Anyways, Xion is a really intense battle, but pretty predictable. She has a cycle that she will mostly follow in both of her phases. The first phase has 5 attacks. The first one has her dashing forward before using a strike rate attack. She then dashes towards Sora to do a 2-hit attack before doing another strike rate. After yet another dash, Xion will do the same 2-hit attack but end with one final strike. This is actually the same attack from the Keyblade Graveyard. After the third strike, you can counter to create an opening. After this combo, Xion will follow up with 3 strike rates, which is also what she could do in her previous fight. If you block these, the third one will break your guard. Getting hit or guarding against one of Xion's strike rates will trigger her next strike rate more quickly, so if you need a breather, dodge through the attacks to slow her down. After the third strike rate attack, Xion will be open. Even if you are hit by her attack, you still have enough time to air step over to her to attack, though guarding and wrist dodging to her is probably the best option. The next attack is a beam attack. Xion will dash around, spawning 5 pillars of light that fly towards you. This is a good time to talk about Xion's dash, as well as these pillars of light. Rather than Roxas' light dash where he zips forward, Xion's dash is more of an arcing jump around the arena. She appears and disappears in a flash of yellow light, and you can actually see a Keyblade dematerializing during the first dash. The beams of light appear from a flash of red light, shooting downwards before moving towards Sora. A symbol appears above this beam which bears a resemblance to the mask Xion wears in her final form armor. I didn't actually think about this, but a user by the name of Nightdazer Nunya pointed out that these pillars are actually from Xion's final limit part of Event Horizon. Taking damage from these beams will decrease Sora's overall health. It is decreased in small increments, though if you have lost HP, your health bar will decrease all the way to wherever your health is. Anyways, back to the attack. Xion is actually open after the last attack. The next attack is a mix of physical attacks and light beams. Xion will do a 2-hit attack before dashing around to send 2 sets of beams at you. You can actually see a strike effect during the dashes, possibly showing that Xion is spawning them since the previous beam attack actually showed her stopping to spawn each beam. The strike effect does not seem to damage Sora. This will loop once before Xion moves on to the next attack. The next attack is another mix of physical attacks and beams. Xion will throw her Keyblade at you 3 times. In between her throws, Xion will dash around and send beams at you. After the first throw, she will spawn a single beam. After the second, she will spawn 2 beams and also dash an extra time before throwing her last Keyblade at you. This will break your guard and you can wrist dodge to her to deal some damage. Bosch Rivers pointed out that you can use magic to stun Xion out of her third strike grade before she throws it. The last attack in the first phase is a dash that spawns 4 beams. Xion will do this twice before restarting the cycle. This is actually pretty similar to the dash she does with the Claymore copy in the Keyblade Graveyard. After taking a certain amount of damage, Xion will appear and do a flurry of attacks, another attack she did in the Keyblade Graveyard. This may actually be a nod to her limit break from 358 over 2 days. Anyways, this ends with her striking Sora before slamming him back towards the ground. This last attack will stun you if it connects. In the Keyblade Graveyard, she would actually launch you into the air and then hit you back down with a Claymore, though in this data battle, she uses her Keyblade the whole time. Xion will then continue through her attacks until doing the double dash that spawns the 4 beams. After this, Xion will cloak herself in light and do a kind of mini ultimate attack. The first attack is a ground slam spawning a golden pillar of light. A shockwave pushes out and 4 smaller pillars appear with light spiraling up them. Lightning will arc down as these pillars disappear. 8 light beams will also appear on the outside of this and shoot outwards. Xion will do this 5 times with the first and last ones homing in on you. If you counterattack on the last hit, you can deal some damage. The next attack is Xion's Flurry attack, though instead of teleporting and doing the 1-2 hit that leaves you stunned, Xion will dash forward, spawning 4 beams of light, and dash towards you to do a single strike. She'll then teleport again, spawning an additional 4 beams before summoning golden pillars of light. You can see Xion staying back this time, though, to spawn this cast of Holy. Instead of a giant beam in the center, a couple smaller beams will all strike down in the center. The outer ring of pillars will spawn first before the center pillars spawn. These cannot be blocked, so either dodge or move out of the way. There will be 3 casts of this before Xion will do the flurry and beam attacks again. The attack then loops and Xion will do the ground slam attack. Xion will then do a 1-2 hit before losing her armor and going back to her general attacks. Countering her attacks and breaking through her armor will give you an opening. Now let's look at the second phase. Xion's second phase is also a cycle. The first attack starts with a 2-hit attack as sets of 2 beams are spawned. Xion dashes closer and does a strong slice upwards. This creates a wall of beams in front of Xion that fly forward. After this strike, you can counter to create an opening. This is followed by Xion dashing at you twice to deliver a strong slice downwards. Xion then dashes back and throws her Keyblade at you. Instead of homing in on you though, the Keyblade will fly forward a short distance before stopping and spawning beams around itself. These push outwards in different directions, and you can see the Keyblade spinning as a current of air pushes outwards with the beams. The second and third strike rates are close enough for you to block, though the third strike rate is different. This will break your guard like previous times, but 4 beams will spawn as soon as Shyam throws the Keyblade and will move in towards you to hit you as soon as your guard breaks. Like previous strike rates, you can wrist dodge to attack Shyam. This is also a good way to dodge the beams. The rest of the cycle is attacks in the first phase. These are the strike rate beam combo attack and the double dash attack that spawns 4 beams. Shyam can also still trigger her flurry of attacks as well as her light armor attack. The last attack in Shyam's arsenal is her ultimate attack. Shyam travels outside of the arena and raises her Keyblade above her head. Light whites out the screen and a sun shines down through some clouds, changing the lighting of the area. It's actually pretty interesting how most ultimate attacks darken the screen, but Shyam's lightens it. Anyways, a wave of light will gather around you before the screen whites out. Pillars of light shoot upwards from the center and travel out to the edges of the arena in thin lines. Shyam appears in the center and attacks you with a 3-hit combo. Another wave of light is drawn towards the center before more pillars shoot up. Shyam appears again with another 3-hit combo. After this, beams of light circle around Sora, following him and trapping him in a small area. After a bit, the beams spread outwards and stop spinning before 3 golden pillars come down around Sora. These disappear and a single pillar comes down on Sora as the light beams on the outside move in towards Sora. Shyam then appears above Sora to slam him down towards the ground. She then teleports and thrusts towards him with a 3-hit combo as beams of light shoot forward on either side of her. Beams of light then appear around the outside of the arena and fly towards the center. After they pass through the center, the beams will arc out in wavy patterns before circling back to the center again. After this, they'll shoot out of the arena. During this, Shyam will do her dash attack that spawns 4 beams. After this, Shyam will go back through her attacks, starting with the circling beams and holy attack. Then she will do her 3-hit combo before the beams circle the arena. This attack will actually happen 3 times. Shyam will also appear to strike you after the second time this arena beam attack happens. After the third time, light will gather in the center and beams of light will shoot up. Shyam will appear in the middle and do a strong strike that is unblockable. This throws Sora up into the air if you get hit by it. If you dodge it, you can actually see Dark Thorn shooting up. This last strike looks to be this attack from the Keyblade graveyard. If you deplete Shyam's armor, the DM will end and Shyam will be open. There are 2 different battle quotes that trigger at the start of this ultimate attack. A user by the name of Matdoesgaming pointed out that one of the quotes is similar to her quote during the final battle of 358 over 2 days.
Ready, Sora? Get ready, Roxas! Here we go!
He also pointed out that the quotes for winning and losing seem to be nods to Days as well.
You're going where I belong. I belong with Sora. This is how it's supposed to be. It was my choice to go away now. I've decided that I have to go back to where I belong.
Before I end the video, I do want to point out just a couple things that I saw that were interesting, but I didn't really know where to put them. Just like in the Keyblade graveyard, Shyam's eyes are yellow here. It's not a huge deal, but I did want to point out that Shyam's recovery is really smooth. Matdoesgaming pointed out that the opening of the ultimate attack looks really similar to the fight with Roxas in Final Form Shyam. Both the blue and golden beams are also seen here. Saxer found out that if you hit Shyam's revenge value in the air, Shyam will strike at you before moving on with her cycle. He also found out that the air left over after arrow casts will stop her dashes. Shyam's AI is incredibly smart. If you hit one of her openings, the next cycle that comes around, she will actually skip that attack. So say you punish the strike rate attack, the next go around she's going to skip over that attack entirely. And I think that is it for Shyam's data battle. A huge thank you to WillJB2, Saxer, and Maui. They were incredibly helpful in making sure I didn't miss any openings or lesser known details. I'll leave links to their channels down below. Anyways, the cards on screen show some places where I'm sometimes active. These are the best places to get updates or content, so be sure to follow the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, click the cards on screen to see some other Remind breakdowns. Subscribe or share this and I'll see you in the next video.